Welcome to Takeover from the crib. You feel me? Back in another week. What's your two names?
Well, Cam, first of all, I think you were a soccer announcer in a previous life because you held that pretty good. But they should already know, but my name is Josh.
My name is Deandra.
It's your boy Cam, and this is Takeover.
Yeah, hey champ. Yeah, we play it all in night. Yeah, need it all in advance. The opposition know we're ready for it. Like a supper we eating, it won't be the last. Grind out the muscle, pull up. Parker right on the grass. We coming in, take over everything, run it up. Not that holding me back. 3 in the wood. Rush.
So we're down to 4 teams. So we're gonna break it up for you guys today. Because in the East we have Boston and we have Miami, and in the West we have Golden State and obviously Luka and the Dallas Mavericks. So guys, after last night, the Celtics go down 0-1 and the Heat win that game last night. Who do you think is gonna win this series between the Celtics and the Heat?
I have gone back and forth and back and forth and back and forth on who I think is going to win this series because to me, I think that they're potentially the two best teams that are left because both of their defenses are absolutely scary because they can just send a wave of long athletic wings at you. The Heat play with a little bit more of that kind of like scrapper junkyard dog mentality, but the Celtics I think are a little bit better at causing chaos because they have guys like Tatum and then they have Jaylen Brown and then Grant Williams and Marcus Smart and Robert Williams who can all create havoc in various different ways because the Celtics aren't necessarily healthy right now, I think I'm leaning Miami personally because if Marcus Smart and Al Horford stay out, I think that's going to really impact what the Celtics can do defensively. Because, I mean, we saw Al Horford is probably the best defensive player that nobody talks about because he's the only person I've seen that can consistently give Giannis Antetokounmpo problems, and there's something to be said for that. But Marcus Smart, just having his passion out there on the court, I think makes a massive difference. I think the Celtics have a better chance to win this game on offense because they've got two shot creators that I would trust in the clutch, and the Heat only have the one. I'm still kind of iffy on Tyler Hero, and you also really can't play him in crunch time because the dude doesn't defend. But I'm leaning Heat, the Miami Heat right now. But at the same time, I can easily see the Celtics winning this because I also think the Heat have enough guys that you can exploit on defense, like Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, that there's an avenue for that. But after the way the Celtics collapsed in the last game, it might be recency bias because of that. I'm leaning Miami just because I feel like they're better equipped to win a playoff series like this.
All right, so as you alluded to, Josh, this is going to be a very, very physical series. I think this is going to be the first time in the playoffs where Miami is really going to face a team just as physical as them. But I think I'm going to edge a little bit to Boston, though. I think they faced more resistance at the rim in the series against Milwaukee than they will in this series. I think Boston isn't really a team where you can hope really to just stop two players and that's it, or force them to shoot the three, as we've seen Miami like to do. We've seen, even though, like you said, Al Horford is injured, we've seen games where like Jason Tatum, they were focusing on Jason Tatum, but Al Horford would step up in Milwaukee, or Grant Williams or a Pritchard would step up like in the game 7 in Milwaukee and make you pay from three. When you look at both of these teams, I think they're really going to compete defensively, obviously, on that side. But offensively, I lean more toward Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, especially down the stretch. And we've seen the Celtics make players like KD and Kyrie struggle, and we've seen them challenge Giannis. And Jimmy Butler is really the driving force of this team, really. And Kyle Lowry is out, so that takes out some of their playmaking as well. And Miami tends to struggle to really get going down the stretch sometimes and to score. And if Jimmy struggles, I think the team is going to struggle as well. And even if he doesn't struggle, we've seen games where Jimmy Butler has scored 40 points, but and Miami has still lost because players like Tyler Hero or Bam Adebayo don't really step up. So I think it's going to go 7, but I'm going to go with the Boston Celtics.
I'm gonna lean Boston for for only like one reason. I mean, these teams are honestly identical, like you guys said. They're both great defenses. The others usually show up, and it's basically a coaching match between two good coaches that are really good at making adjustments. But the one thing Miami doesn't have that the Celtics do have is Jason Tatum. And I think sometimes it's as simple as that. His ability to create shots, his ability to make tough shots, really, I think, separates him from everybody else that's on the court, really. And as good as Jimmy Butler is, I mean, Jason Tatum has outplayed Kevin Durant, and some he outplayed Giannis in Game 7. I don't want to see why he couldn't outplay Jimmy Butler in a 7-game series as well. I mean, he just played so well. I believe Marcus Smart will eventually come back just because of how much of a competitor that he actually is. And to be honest, I was surprised that the Celtics jumped on Miami so hard in the first half because I expected Miami to win the game because the Celtics was coming off a 7-game series. But the Celtics honestly dominated them in the paint in that first half and gave them a lot of problems. And Jason Tatum was just on a monstrous spree. I think they ran out of steam in the second half, to be honest, and that's the only reason they lost game 1. So I think the way the Celtics are playing right now, what Grant Williams can do, what their others can do, and what they have at Jason Tatum, I think that the Celtics are going to have the edge in this series, and I'm picking the Celtics to win as well. I
I
tell
know
y'all
you're
about it.
disrespecting him now though by picking against him, but either way, like I said, this is the hardest series for me to pick because again, I think they're the two best teams left personally. No matter who comes out of this, I'm probably picking them to win the finals. Um, but man, I don't know. Jimmy Butler just continues to find ways, and I don't think it's doubt him at your own risk at this point.
It'll be a good one. I mean, honestly, I love watching the Heat play because they got all my favorite type of players. All the players are junkyard dogs with Kyle Lowry, PJ, and the rest of them guys. It's my type of basketball to watch for sure.
God
So
forbid they get Patrick Beverly.
it'll be over. It'll be over. I might have to become a Heat fan after that. But
Golly.
definitely,
Anyway,
it'll be a great
moving
series.
on to the next topic, we've got the Western Conference Finals where we have the Golden State Warriors taking on the old blood versus the new blood. Golden State versus Dallas, old dynasty versus new dynasty. Guys, who do we got coming out of the West this year?
Um, all right. So first of all, I just want to say kudos to Luca for having that crazy game, and what he did to the Suns was just illegal. But we know Luca is going to go crazy. We know Luca is going to do Luca things. And though Luca, I believe he has gotten way better help than he's had in prior years. Luca is really the only player on that team that is known to be explosive or that can go nuclear at any given time in a game. I mean, you have Brunson and you have Dinwiddie, but we know the Mavs really rely on Luca. But the Golden State Warriors have three of those players. You have Jordan Poole, Steph Curry, and Klay Thompson. And when I'm looking at this series, I think Golden State, they don't really have to worry about size as much as they had to worry about in the other series because the Mavericks really don't have an overwhelming post presence. I think they're going to force the Mavs to really take tough shots because you have obviously Draymond leading the defensive end. Really, I don't think that Luca is guardable, honestly, in my opinion. But I don't think that they're just going to push around Draymond or even Wiggins to that effect. And I think with the pick and roll, also, I think they're also going to attack Luca. I believe they're going to run him tired so that he's not as efficient on the offensive side of the ball. And really, the Mavs really have no elite defenders on the perimeter. So I think it will be quite simple for the Golden State Warriors to get the shots that they were looking for. Um, and this Warriors team is just known to really execute. They had a rough shooting series against the Memphis Grizzlies, but this team is really known like to turn on at any given time out of nowhere. And all it takes is one mistake. All it takes is one momentum shift, and it's in their favor. And you can be down by 10 points. Or really, against the Golden State Warriors, when you're down 10 points, sometimes it feels like 20 points. And one difference in the Warriors and Grizzlies series, in my opinion, was really experience, and I think that applies to this series as well. Don't get me wrong; this is a really hot Mavs team, and you have a really motivated Luca just making it out of the first round. But I think that the championship pedigree will show itself in this series. I think it's going to be a tough series too, but I got the Warriors in the series.
I'm leaning Warriors too, and I'm leaning Warriors because the Warriors in every series have had to go against a player that's the best on the court. When they played the Nuggets, Nikola Jokic was the best player on the court, and they still won. When they played the Grizzlies, John Morant to me was the best player on the court, and they still won. And even when I know Ja got injured in that series, but even when Ja was in, they was whooping that trick in Golden State. So I don't really understand. So it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough to say that Luka's gonna be able to beat this team too. And you think about Luka's dominance. He's really dominant in the post, and he can also play perimeter. But I feel like the matchup between him and Draymond Green will be extremely interesting. But I don't see Draymond Green getting overpowered by Luka in the post as much as he was doing of a Chris Paul or anybody else that he was doing in Phoenix. I feel like they can turn Luka. I'm not gonna say they're gonna be able to stop him, but they can turn him maybe into a perimeter player, and that suits better for their style. Because once you get into a 3-point shootout with Golden State, it comes with problems because they have the greatest shooter of all time on their team, and I trust their others more. I don't know if Dinwiddie's gonna play like Game 7 Dinwiddie all the time. I don't know what Dorian Finney-Smith is gonna give me all the time. I don't know what Maxi Kleber's gonna give me all the time. I know what Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, and my boy Jordan Poole are gonna give me most of the time because it's a splash trio now. And when I tell you it's the pool party, it's different nowadays, okay? Because now they have 3 shooters who can take over a game. They got 3 people who can cause havoc. And like I told Josh before, I think it was a couple weeks ago, Golden State has one of the most reliable big threes of all time. They show up when they need to, and I'm sure they'll show up again. I have Golden State.
Well, Cam, I think one thing you said in that was factually inaccurate. I don't think that Draymond Green is going to actually be guarding Luka because that's never really been Draymond's role in the Warriors defense. He's always been more of a free safety type who roams around and causes havoc everywhere because putting him on one single person kind of neglects his impact. So probably the main defender is going to be Andrew Wiggins. And I'm going to tell y'all right now, Andrew Wiggins is not going to guard Luka Doncic. And it doesn't really matter who the primary defender is because the primary defender on Luka in the Suns series was Mikal Bridges. But most of the isolation possessions that Luka got was not on Mikal Bridges. You can run pick and rolls and get the switches relatively easily because everybody switches nowadays, which is why I'm picking the Dallas Mavericks. And the main reason I would say it is I did this in the NFL season. Sometimes you just got to ride with the team of destiny. And right now, it looks like the Dallas Mavericks are the team of destiny. It worked with Joe Shiesty, so it's gonna work with Luka Magic. So I'm picking the Mavericks for that reason. I think the Mavericks are well equipped here. I think they've got some good shooters. You can have Jalen Brunson out there. He's a very heady player. Dorian Finney-Smith had a career year from 3, shooting almost 40%. They don't have Tim Hardaway Jr., which is unfortunate, but they finally have that third shot creator in Spencer Dinwiddie. And almost all of their big men that they're going to run out in this series can't shoot. And I think that's going to be the difference here because the Warriors, if they go big, if the Mavs go big, if they put Maxi Kleber out there at 6'10", or if they put Davis Bertans out there and the Warriors have to match with Kevon Looney, what's up, Cam?
The Grizzlies were the best rebounding team in the league, and Kevon Looney had 20 rebounds when it mattered.
Well, so they were the best
Everybody
rebounding
figured
team in
the
the
Warriors.
league because they
Everybody.
played Steven Adams a lot in the regular season, and by the time they got to the playoffs, Steven Adams didn't play as much.
They were out rebounding the Nuggets in some games. Nikola Jokic
Either
speaking
way,
all
I wasn't talking about rebounding. I was talking about the fact that all their big men can shoot, so they can pull people out of the paint, which makes it easier for Luka. And besides, the Warriors don't really have a rim protector that's going to be able to stop them. The Suns had a shot because they had a guy like DeAndre Ayton who could protect the rim adequately. Kevon Looney has never been a dominant rim protector. He's a good defensive player because he makes a lot of heady plays and can do the stuff that you need him to do. But Kevon Looney is not going to strike the fear of God into anybody's soul. So I think the Mavericks are going to be able to attack the rim, and they're going to be able to put a ton of pressure there and either get people in foul trouble or they're going to be able to get a ton of layups and get some free throws. So I'm rolling with the Mavericks in this one.
that is crazy. So in a shootout, you would take the Dallas Mavericks over the Golden State Warriors.
In a shootout, that's a different. They're talking about a 1-game sample size. If it's Game 6, then I'll take the Warriors because I don't. Ain't nobody stopping Game 6 Clay. But in a 7-game series with the teams as currently constructed, I'm riding with Dallas because, like, first of all, they've got the best player, and in the NBA, that matters significantly more than on any other sport. And on top of that, that best player is coming off an absolutely dominant thing, and I don't think you're going to be able to stop him, and I don't think you're going to be able to stop the number 2 or the number 3 either.
So you said they have the okay. Okay. I know this is a different topic. You said they have the best player. Didn't you just pick Miami?
Yeah, I did, but that's because that comes. I gave my reasons for that. But it's because they're two great defensive teams, and I'm going to go with the team that's a little bit scrappier in that case. Because I think the Heat. You always talk about how playoff games are won on 50-50 balls and want to and whatnot. The Miami
Right?
Heat are always going to be the first team on the floor. So I'll roll with Miami in that case. And besides, I don't think the gap between Jason Tatum and Jimmy Butler is that massive.
Okay. Okay, John. All right. I was just making sure you stay consistent out here. I was just making sure you stay consistent.
I have a question.
Of
Okay.
course she does.
Okay.
It's always me that gets questioned.
No, it's not really just for you. It's really for both of you guys. It's a hypothetical question. So, if Luka goes to the finals and wins the finals, is he a top 3 player?
Absolutely. I feel like it takes
I agree.
it's all the way.
Yeah.
It's Atlanta's worst nightmare. Atlanta is going to be the biggest Golden State and whoever he goes against fans. I'm telling you, they don't want to know that they skipped out on this.
Why are we not talking about the fact that the Sacramento Kings passed on him to take Marvin Bagley?
We're in Atlanta, and you're an Atlanta fan. It's we need to talk about you. That's what we need to talk
bro.
about.
We got to talk about the fact that Sacktown passed on a generational superstar for a guy that's no longer on the team and couldn't stay healthy. All right. The Atlanta Hawks, yes, they traded Luka Doncic, yada, yada, yada. The Atlanta Hawks got a top 20 player out of that deal. So while it looks bad because we gave up a top 5 player, at least we got a a star. The Kings didn't get anything.
Okay, I'm just saying, don't let him win, Josh. You don't want him to win that championship.
I don't.
In your heart, you don't want him
It's
to win.
whatever. The comparisons are going to be there regardless. We'll soldier on through. We're used to it. We've been made the butt of 28-3 jokes. Might as well have something in basketball too.
Crazy. Well, that's gonna wrap up our episode today. Do you guys have anything to say?
Just wait. Trae Young's coming. He'll get there one day. He'll get there one day. And then when that happens, we can revive these comparisons. Which, by the way, it's crazy that we're doing a massive career comparison of saying we're going to stop doing that comparison when they're both 5 years into their careers. But that's an argument for another time.
All right, guys, make sure you like and subscribe, and always remember that Trae Young had more turnovers than points in that Miami series. So you guys be okay.
That's a lie, but okay.
Was it shot attempts? What was it more? It was more turnovers.
I think it was the same amount of turnovers as assists.
That's crazy.
Yeah, need it all in advance. The opposition know we're ready for it. Like a supper we eating, it won't be the last. Grind out the muscle, pull up. Parker right on the grass. We coming in, take over everything, run it up.